I'm just going to start. We have no idea what we're going to even talk about. We didn't discuss this. The truth is, I think Amanda is the most amazing person in the world. I consider her my sister, and I can never talk to her because she's so friggin' busy. So I figured I'd book her for an hour and we could talk.
You can call me anytime. I will answer. And
I'm going to set the tone. This is 578. Did that come through?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Very nice. Thank you.
Amanda, for those of you that don't know her, I don't know where you've been, but Amanda is her main is the main website yummy.doctor.
Yeah, that's the hub. You can find all the other websites from there.
And she is, in my humble opinion, probably one of the greatest natural. What are you called? Naturopath, natural medicine, natural healer. How's that?
Well, I vacillate between holistic and eclectic because eclectic is from multidisciplinary studies, and I'm very multidisciplinary. But I'm holistic in approach. So, and I'm not a licensed naturopathic doctor. I'm trained as a naturopath. I went to naturopathic college. So I've graduated. A lot of people get a lot of things confused about me, but we keep the mystery going, I guess.
and Amanda also is a voracious and empathic. Is that the right word? Emotional flat earther.
Yeah, passionate about truth.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
and so I met Amanda in 2020. I was at a retreat in Woodstock, New York, with Benjamin Balderson, Andrew Kaufman, a bunch of other people, and then these two chicks show up, Amanda and Beth Martins. I'm like, who are these girls? And it's just something like them glow about you two. And since then, I've adopted Amanda to be my sister, whether she likes it or not.
Oh yeah, I've adopted you. You're my brother. My own brother is not even on Earth side anymore. You're it. You're my brother.
All right, awesome. And what I thought we'd talk about today is a lot of things, and we can go anywhere with this, that people can do for themselves that are super easy and super cheap, super easy and cheap. And if you look at health, someone's like, well, I'm not going to spend $100 on that. Well, if you don't, and something goes wrong, how much are you going to spend? So, but I like, there's so many free things. I thought we'd start with like the things that people can do. And I'd like your opinion. Like my number one thing, if you don't do anything else in the world, tilt your bed.
Yeah.
Do you have your bed tilted?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I mean tilt your bed, don't Craftmatic it. You need to just tilt it. 5-degree tilt, head to foot. And you want to say what that does for your body?
Well, it's really about a circulation, lymph flow. It's how your body is regulating itself. You're slowly giving it an encouragement to keep moving rather than pooling.
Right. So that's what I say. When you lay down flat, everything just pools, everything slows down. When you're tilted, everything keeps going all night long. Your digestion keeps digesting. And I tell, a lot of times I talk to people about it, like, got to tilt your bed. And they're like, oh, yeah, maybe. But if you say it stops cellulite from forming, which it does, I think it reverses it. People do it in a second. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I use that a lot, the superficial thing, like, hey, you want to slim down, or hey, you want to have better skin, even though there's like more benefits than that, or the
100%.
benefits that I would tell them, they don't value the same. Yeah.
Right. Well, not having pooled lumps of not proper tissue is healthier than having it. So it's a health thing. It's not even a cosmetic thing.
Yeah.
Um, I want to jump to your store for a second. You were having, I don't know what the story is now. Can you ship to the United States?
Hmm.
Oh, so you're back in all things are good?
Um,
Wouldn't say that.
uh, well, no, things are interesting. We've been shipping for months. It's
Okay.
what happened was, as they've been doing, is shocking, trying to destabilize small businesses, and they've ruined thousands and thousands of small businesses here in Canada and also across the United States with the tariff shock because it wasn't brought in nice and gradual and here's how it's going to be and here's the plan and here's what you need to do with your broker and it was just a dump of craziness and people scrambling and knowing what's going on with, like we saw in faux COVID, the border control agents having a power trip, like, making decisions on with because they didn't like you, they didn't like the name of your business or whatever, holding up your packages versus other people's packages. Like the bias and the power and the craziness was just mind-boggling, where you can't get your head around the insanity of it. And that's still happening. Like FDA came in and used the stoppage of border to now like go through all of our products, like make us rename all our products, make us take away anything that even hardly identifies what it is. Like all of our eye drops now have to have these strange names that don't even identify them as eye drops. We had to take the word DMSO off of our label because that's too triggering to the low IQ people. There
So
you go.
this is vintage now. It says
It's
DMSO
vintage.
and eye
Yeah,
drops.
that's right. You have the old school, and although we've created since then more styles of eye drops. We now have a DMSO colloidal silver eye drop. We now have an MSM eye drop. So we actually expanded the collection because the weirdest thing is that the things that I've invented, my production that is Canadian, that is purely Canadian, that I can verify country of origin and sources, they're all allowed through the border. But it was all the third party things, like hundreds of supplements and things that I use in conjunction with DMSO that can't go across unless you want to pay a lot. And it's not just like, oh, it's a little bit of a percentage tariff. There's also fees. There's also shipping fees. Like there's more fees on top of it than is advertised. And it just makes especially with a third party product, it's not feasible. Like we can absorb the price and then we can't compete in the market because why would we sell it for the price that's too high compared to everything else that you can buy, right? So we had to stop selling about 280 or so products. So it was a huge dent in our overhead or income. Like everything has shifted and changed. So we're kind of just settling with what that is. Also, everything had to be done by hand. Every product had to be done by hand. 8 pieces of paper of documentation per piece had to be created, proving
Wow.
everything that was in it, everything, like wasn't just for border services, was also for FDA. So they use that as a capturing sort of net to stop a lot of holistic businesses. So it was an attack on our business as well. Crazy that we're still here, but we are, and we're very grateful. But what a ride. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of loss. We don't even know the calculation of loss, the man hours and everything. I mean, we're still just trying to rebuild, but now we're pivoting a lot more to digital products, things that don't have to be shipped because that could go too. I mean, we're good now. We can get those things across, but until what point, what's the next thing they're going to pull out of their pocket? Like I don't trust these people anymore,
So
right? And
right now, people in America can get everything that's on your website.
so with dmso.store and yumnaturals.store, if you go to USA eligible, everything we've had to
Okay.
separate out just to help people understand what's available. So everything under that section, yes, which is all my DMSO blends and all my handmaids and all my soap, except for a couple of the new ones because they have to be approved. Can you believe the soap has to be approved by the FDA and the border to go across? We have to submit every single product to be
Well, it should be
approved.
okay. The FDA approved the COVID shot, so
Yeah.
it's not as bad as that, right?
Mm,
Um,
yeah,
can we
right.
talk about the DMSO, the eye drops, and what they do? I love the eye drops. I love the 40%. Paige was this morning. She goes, "We got to get some more 20% because it's a little stingy." But I love it. It's like I equate it to putting a little bit of sand in your eye just for a couple seconds.
Yeah, and people have different sensitivities, obviously, right? And you also build up some
Yeah.
tolerance to when you're using it regularly. But we have a wide range now. We have basically from a 15% DMSO blend up to a 40% for the eyes. And it's really just your comfort level of what percentage you want to go with. Usually suggest to start low. The one with colloidal silver really is even more refreshing. A lot of people are noting more eyesight improvements with that combination, and also the lower percentages are really safe for animals, and you can also use on more like older children as well, right, without them complaining too much. But it is transdermal. So when you have some agent that is transdermal, that means it is physically opening the barrier and moving in, right? And that process, you feel that sensation. And depending on your sensitivities, you'll feel it more or less.
I'm a big wimp. I actually like it. I look forward to it. I put it in. It stings for a minute. It's kind of like I guess it's like hitting your head against the wall. It feels really good when you stop.
Well, the term for it is a bit of liquid fire, so there's like
Yeah.
a burning sensation,
That's how you
but
know
then
it's
there's a
working.
really
Come on.
well, you know that it's really active, and like the MSM, which is DMSO2, which is the cousin of DMSO that that's more in crystalline form. We made an eye drop with that, and there's no stinging
So
whatsoever.
that's just MSM, no DMSO, because they're like sisters.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. They're relatives. They only have one oxygen difference.
All
Yeah.
right. As a kid, I was always told, don't rub your eyes. Don't rub your eyes. I disagree with that. Tell me what you think about this. When you rub your eyes, it's kind of like massaging your muscle. It's kind of, working the kinks out. What do you think
Well,
about that?
there's a right way and a wrong way to massage.
Okay.
If you take your hand and you just start rubbing over the skin,
Yeah.
you're not really massaging.
Okay.
That's the wrong way. So rubbing your eyes just like that wouldn't be as effective as when you're grabbing the tissue underneath and moving along with it. So when we do eye yoga, we're massaging the whole musculature around the eye socket, all these areas under here that have very delicate tissue, which you don't want to be rubbing, right? You don't want to be rubbing the skin. You want to be massaging, and the skin is actually static under your fingers, right? So you know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's different than this. And those that will help with circulation. It will move the lymphatic fluid. It will stimulate a lot of repair, in the area when you do that, and better oxygenation into the area. And when we have like microvessels, there's a lot of microvessels in the eye. I actually just taught a webinar and masterclass about the eye. I have a lot of those. Every 3 weeks, I do a free webinar, then I do a paid masterclass, and I keep repeating that process. And when I did the eye one, we talked a lot about, how do we get more nutrients delivered to the tissues so they can repair, and then how do we get the wastes removed? I mean, that's really disease in a nutshell, right? When you can't repair something and you have an accruing of debris, that's where you get your problems, right? And anytime you can get blood flow there that has nutrients in it to deliver, and then it can get out the garbage, you have a healing response. And that's why we want to make sure nothing's blocked. We want to make sure we're nutrient rich with the way we're eating, carrying on in life, which is also means getting sunlight, which is hard to do these
Oh
days
man. Oh man.
because they're actively blocking it from us because they know that sunlight is not just vitamin D. It's codes and it's frequencies, right? It wakes us up and it brings us joy, and they don't really want us very happy right now. Not just vitamin D gives us joy, but actual just sunlight frequencies, which are a variety, help us. And our eyes are meant to read them. And I talk a lot about things like sun gazing or solar gazing, right? Where you're actually soft gazing at the sun during low UV times, which is early morning, like right at sunrise and right before the sun's about to, go farther away, farther from our eyes, because I don't even like using the word sunset because it's not setting, it's just
Right.
moving away from us. Um, and that can heal your eyesight as well. That can help really wake up your other internal eyesight, your third eyesight. And for some reason, they really like to block a lot of the sunsets. They really, at least in my area, they really don't want you to have access to that
It's
because they're
incredible.
closed. Yeah.
Yeah. What about like, so I was just at the beach yesterday, the day before, and they started spraying really hard near sunset. Now, what's your thoughts on sun gazing? Why there's friggin' chemtrails in the sky?
Well, you're going to just get what you can get while it's there.
Okay.
And you can still sun gaze clouded.
Yep.
You just won't get all the frequencies.
Get it.
You'll get some though. And I would rather something than nothing. I'm lucky this time of year. I have a back porch and it's perfect because the UV is perfect. I'm high enough. So it meets my eyes nicely and I can just sit back there and just listen to the birds and the robins and just gently sun gaze, even if it's cloudy. Unless if it's raining, I don't, but if it's cloudy, I will.
So one of I learned so many things. There's so many different supplements and things to take, and I get overwhelmed, and I get all these things, and then I don't know which ones to take, and I kind of just trust my intuition. What would you say are the top things to take? Let's say for your eyes, or in general, like what if someone's like, I'm only going to take three things? What would it be? Would it be vitamin C,
Well,
iodine?
this is what I teach at Yummy
Yeah.
Doctor. This is like I'm creating, well, I have created a 12-step program to doctoring yourself and firing your doctor because let's face it, we have a crisis of proportions on every level, including and especially the medical cult, the death cult, as I call it, because they're really more interested in harvesting your organs and keeping, you healthy. And also they reject the thousands upon thousands of remedies that are out there, including things like DMSO. And then they pump you full of chemicals because you're really just marketing for them. And so I'm teaching people how to understand themselves and the principles of a holistic knowledge, how to apply them. Because once you have that framework, now you know, like, okay, I'm feeling XYZ. Let me self assess. So the first step is always self assessment. Let me see, like, what symptoms is my body showing me? My body is always intelligent, which means it's showing me something that I need to pay attention to. The germ theory is false, and we don't have an immune system. So that means we have a cleansing network and we have a self versus non-self situation. And that means my body has, if I'm experiencing something where I'm expressing, it means it's doing it for a reason. And I just randomly walk down the street and catch something, right? So once we just dispel the myths and the lies that are out there that keep people trapped in fear programming, now you're empowered. Okay, so that's really the first step, taking this, taking that. It's really about understanding what you're not doing. You're not killing things. You're not chasing parasites. You're not killing viruses. You're not killing bacteria. That's not where the thinking goes. The thinking goes, I have symptoms, the body's intelligent is showing me something. What organ system is involved here? And what are the organ systems at play here? So which ones should I support right now? Because something is going on within my body. And I want to make sure I'm supporting it and not suppressing it, which is conventional medicine. What it focuses on is suppression. A successful suppression is considered a cure, right? But we're not interested in suppression for later disease. Like, look at the rising rates of chronic disease. Are we doing better? No, we are not. They are just inventing more and more suppressions to sort of drag you down the line when you maybe die at 70 of a heart attack because you took their shots or you have suppressed it
Or at
too
30.
far, right? Yeah, I mean, this is
Kids are having heart attacks now. It's crazy.
absolutely. And it's gotten to that point where even some of the people who praise that system are waking up and saying no to these things and questioning and starting to open their minds. And I've been doing this for a very long time, a couple of decades now. I've seen it all. I can tell you from treating the most intense diseases, the throwaways from the doctors, you can heal anything. You can heal your body from anything. You just have to understand what you're doing from that corrected lens, because just like the corrected lens of seeing the world, right? You're
Yep.
going to make mistakes if you have a false view of where you live and who you are, right? You're going to make mistakes within that. If you understand that, well, germ theory is false and I don't have an immune system and this is not, there's no viruses to attack me. So what really is happening inside my body, which is why I teach a lot of traditional Chinese medicine, which is something that was taught in naturopathic college, but also really went above and beyond to learn more, because that really, for me, solidified a lot of the holistic connective knowledge of the oneness, rather than going to specialist for the eyes, specialist for the throat, special, right? No, because the eyes are connected to the liver. If you want to successfully heal your eyes, then you're going to think about the main organ that governs and controls the health of the eyes, which is your liver. And traditional Chinese medicine taught me all of those organ connections. And so, for example, say you're having an eye issue, whatever the eye issue is, maybe it's just eye strain or whatever, and you probably even know why. You might even have an inkling. A lot of people will tell on themselves in interviews, like, I was taught to listen to my clients, listen to my patients, right? Well, they'll speak. You let them talk long enough, they'll diagnose themselves. They'll come up with the answer. They'll be, oh, well, I haven't actually got a lot of sleep lately. Or, oh, well, I've been keeping my contacts in too long. Or, oh, I've been on my computer without a blue light filter. And, they'll kind of tell on themselves. It's like, well, you start with the obvious things first, right? You start with the things you shouldn't be doing. That's where you begin. Oh, I've been drinking alcohol, or I have been constipated and not dealing with it, right? And so you clear up the most obvious things first. Then you can go, all right, where's my diet at? What am I even digesting? Am I eating properly? Am I exercising? Am I moving my body? How's my stress? Like, those are all the first things that you look at, even before you go supplements, what am I putting in as extras, right? That's what I teach as the first steps.
So
Then you target.
yeah, so the analogy you just made about discovering where we live, what this place is. By discovering what this place is, you free your mind. There's so much more potential that you realize that you have. Therefore, you're already better. So when you teach someone, all right, it's not a virus, it's not this, it's not that, you don't have an immune system, you can heal anything. That's half of the cure right there, just by them knowing. Right now, people call it the placebo effect. The placebo effect is a real thing. The placebo effect is changing the way that you think inside, and from fear to more of a knowing, more of a more of an empowered thought, and that enables your body to heal. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, we have placebo and nocebo, and we're very suggestible, which is why industries work so hard to brainwash us and sell to us with marketing and hypnosis and these kinds of things, and why they fake so much to manipulate us, right? Because we're manipulatable. Placebo is helpful. It's definitely helpful, but I would say most of placebos in modern medicine and not in holistic medicine, because they're lucky that there is placebo, because most of their garbage
No,
doesn't
no,
work.
no, but
And
that's what I'm
you know
saying.
what I mean?
What I'm saying
Yeah.
is the placebo is you reject the modern allopathic medicine. You reject it. You're like, I'm not afraid of that anymore. Now you can go do the right thing. So you get that fear out, get those incorrect things out, and now you go on more on the natural true path.
Well, it's more that, like, placebo is just part of your mind body complex, right? So obviously the things that play in your mind affect you physiologically, and that is well documented. We know that. As well as if you're at the nocebo, if you have like negative thinking or you're in fear-based energy, you have a cascade of chemical mediators that come from that. Like we have biology of belief. There's like Candace Pert's work. There's all kinds of people who have documented these sorts of things. But there's many pieces to the puzzle of understanding, like, health and getting to that vigorous health, right? That's one part of it. Mindset is one part of it, because mindset is also part of the motivation to back you to actually do the things because it does take some effort and it does take some input on your part. You can't just lay around and hope that, health just drops from the ceiling, right? You actually have to take action. And when you're stuck in familiarity, even if it's painful familiarity, that gives a positive feedback in your mind that tells you you're safe if you just continue as you are, because any potential change could throw off the balance in your life, which could invite other changes. And we know this. And so a lot of people get stuck and don't take any action. So really all of the mindset changes can help you, get out of a stuck place and take radical self-acceptance of where you're at now and be okay with, the mistakes you've made and forgiveness and all of that stuff. We have to kind of have kid gloves for ourselves when we're moving through changes. And then just start where you can. And I do a lot of teaching around just beginning with one small thing. You don't have to be type A. You don't have to be a perfectionist. You don't have to have like a whiteboard written out. You really just need to make one change a day, little by little, to start your momentum going. And then you can, really get a plan together and feel a new sensation about what you're doing, rather than the self-punishment and the self-abandonment, which a lot of is what's going on when we see like people who are chronically ill or destitute in a lot of ways, or homeless in a lot of ways. There's usually a lot of harm, self-hatred programs running there, where they feel they don't deserve good health. They don't deserve a thriving, vibrant life, right? They feel like something's wrong with them. So these programs have to be worked through slowly with like subtle changes in your life. And, this is all part of, what I teach and what I am building into my 12-step program for people to get out of their
I've
ruts.
seen many examples of people that don't express their emotions, are very angry on the inside, and then sometimes sooner than later in life, they start having clogged arteries and heart attacks and strokes and all sorts of things just start happening to them with really no medical explanation, no allopathic explanation other than, oh, you're just, genetics or whatever.
Yeah, well, try being a perimenopausal woman and then talk to me about anger and rage, because what happens during this time of life, like I'm 51, and I'm going through a lot of physiological change right now, which is a normal natural process when your body starts to go from maiden into cronehood and you don't need your reproductive organs anymore. And so they downgrade and they actually affect your adrenals more. And so your liver is involved in that process. And because of our world, I was already like a single mom, very stressed, like too busy, not enough support. And now coming into perimenopause, you don't have the buffer anymore. And so the liver is the seat of anger in your body. And when your liver is agitated, you will feel those sensations. So it might not just be a mental construct, or it isn't always a mental construct. It's the agitation of the liver fire rising, bringing that heat to you. And, for a menopausal woman, you'll see a lot of the times they'll just say no to stuff that they used to do. Like they used to just be the one to take care of everybody and just say yes to everything. And then all of a sudden, like they want a divorce or they want out of the situation. And that's because their fire is rising within them. And they're not tolerant of any of those situations anymore. They're not putting up with a lot of things that they used to put up with that actually were causing other problems in their body. And it's like a time in life where the body goes like, no, we're not doing that anymore, because we really can't. So there's different types of like, we kind of label negativity in emotions like across the board, but there's like, I kind of like to label it as elements like fire, water, air, like what's happening when because somebody might be feeling anger and be very angry and hurt people, but other people may have a surge of anger, and that's their power to make change in their life, or take some action in their life. Like fighting against like a government, insanity or something, but that might be anger driving them to do that, right? So there's different like subsections of the emotions that are there. And really, I see them all as messengers. It's really just all, again, information, what the body is sharing. Is there anger there because your liver's agitated, or is there anger there because you're actually deeply sad, and you don't know how to express, like what you're saying, you're bottling up and you don't know how to express your sadness, you're not processing grief well, right? I know when I'm bottling up grief and I don't feel that I have an expressive conduit, then I get more agitated, frustrated, and then it can come out as express as anger when it's really not the root cause of the anger, right? So it's really about, again, accepting your situation in the moment and gently parenting yourself or reparenting yourself, soothing the inner child as best as possible in a non-harmful way, like not with drugs and alcohol and these sorts of things, like doing it in a nurturing sort of way, like going for a walk in nature. When I feel frustrated, I just go for a walk if I can. Like we have long winters here, but when I can, I'll do that. Or I'll go stretch. I'll go stretch on the ground. I'll go do some breathing, while I'm stretching, something to just get out of the situation so I can get a reflection and then I can process rather than, just bottle and shut it up, and that can lead obviously to emotional base and physical diseases later.
Tell me more about your the class that you do. Is it every week? Why would somebody join it? Like they just don't know what they're doing. They're stuck. They're taking random supplements and they just have no plan. You help them organize that. How does that work?
Okay, well, I have a couple things going on. I do a weekly live event for my members. So I have a three-tiered membership. So for the upper level members, then they can access me live once a week. So it's usually like a Q&A sort of scenario. I'll usually at the beginning I'll do a teaching, and then the second half will be answering questions of members and what, how they're doing, following along in their cases, and how they're having successes and so forth. And so there's a lot of learning, obviously, from that too. And then inside, it's basically like you can have your own sort of social media page inside Yummy.Doctor. And there's a lot of posts in there too, so that I'll go in and answer those questions, and we'll have that type of community, which is wonderful. And then, so that's one thing. The other thing I'm doing are the free webinars and the paid master classes, right? And so this next one coming up is actually about ear, nose, and throat, how to use DMSO for ear, nose, and throat conditions. And then once I'm done that, and by the way, all the previous free webinars are all available public under my video section. And all the master classes are available still under the masterclass section, right? So everything's ongoing. And then, but what I'm starting is a process of doing that pattern for the 12 steps. So after the ENT, DMSO ENT, I'm going to be doing, I've already done a beta test of it. So now I'm going to run it through this. And then that's going to become, once I'm done that, it's going to become a whole packaged program. And that people can even become health coaches and so forth at the end of that, including a community outreach section of that, where I really believe in like a grassroots sort of movement where people know enough and are confident enough to teach this in their communities, right? So that they go and have little meetings and talk about, the organs that are connected and the falsities of the germ theory and why you say no to drugs and why you say no to vaccines and why you reject that system that is trying to capitalize from you and also to corral you and survey you, right? So to keep our freedoms intact. So that's part of the whole 12 step as well. So those are like basically three events that I do sort of in rotation.
And all of them are at yummy.doctor. You have so many
Mm-hmm.
websites. So yummy.doctor, that's the only thing you have to remember.
Yeah, yeah, because if you click on any one of my public videos, you'll find all my connections to
Perfect.
everywhere else,
Okay.
and you'll see all the other websites there. Yeah.
All right. I like one website. You tell people three websites, they can't remember any. You tell them one, half of them can remember it.
There you go. But I mean, why we had to do that was because we were being hunted. Like why I had to go from Yum Naturals, which I was just Yum Naturals, and then I had to split off my all my DMSO products because we were being hunted, and then we decided to split off the teaching part of it because the one website was getting too big and we're overloading the servers, and so but now we have our own servers and everything's like within our own containment.
So if somebody joined this, just how much time per week would they spend on it? Is it an hour? Is it more? What was the average person? What time commitment would it take?
It's not that there's a time commitment, it's really about how you want to use it and what benefits you want to get from it. Some people just join just to support my work, right?
Okay. No,
So
I'm talking about somebody that wants to. Hey, you know what? I definitely need to do something better. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I hate my doctor. How much time do I need to spend on Amanda's site to increase my knowledge significantly? Is
Well, it would be good to join in on the lives. I mean,
okay.
I run them for about 3 hours a week, but you don't have to stay the whole time, obviously. But or you can watch them on the replay. You
Okay.
can watch just the Q&A portion on the replay or whatever. I mean, it's very flexible. They don't have. It's not really like, oh, you need this amount of time, you need this amount of time, because it depends on where they're at. Like it
And
depends on how knowledgeable
no,
they
I
are.
got,
Like,
I got you. I'm just,
you know
the
what I mean?
people wonder these things, and these things that go
Oh,
through my head. And I'm most of it's not visual. Even though you're on audio, it's just it's audio information. They could listen to it while they're commuting. They could listen to it while they're walking. Or is there stuff that
sure.
they need to look at? Yeah, no problem, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they're a member, all the back issues of the hundreds of live webinars, like the Q&A lives, they
That's
could
what.
listen to
Yeah,
to
that's
talk.
what I'm saying. Like I always listen to Crow because it's audio, so I can do it
Yeah.
while I'm working, while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. While I'm running,
Yeah,
while I'm
everything can be done
swimming.
audio.
So yeah. So that's good.
Sometimes on occasional I'll do at the beginning, I'll do like an anatomy lesson or something and I might have visuals, but it's not there. Most of my videos I allow for just audio.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of sulfur?
I
Plain?
am a fan of sulfur. Is that a loaded question? Yeah, and it's interesting because we're coming into like bug season here, and if you're in an area that has a lot of ticks and fleas and these sorts of things, those bugs don't like sulfur. Like chiggers, or I think you guys have more of those in the States. Ticks, right?
X.
They Yeah, ticks especially hate sulfur. So I usually suggest to load up on your internal MSM sulfur and your external or internal, but you smell stronger when you drink DMSO than just topically use it. So I suggest topical 50% DMSO with magnesium twice a day on clean skin, and then slowly work up to 5,000 milligrams of MSM internally
So
to
the
build.
MSM sulfur it looks like sugar. It's just like a crystal, just for people that don't know. And how do you take it? I just dump it in my mouth and take a swig of
Yeah,
water.
that's what I do. Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
much how much is a dose for a day for you? Like, is it 1 tablespoon, teaspoon, twice a day, once a day?
One teaspoon twice a day is your 5,000 milligrams twice a day. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah,
That's that.
it's really weird. Like I mix it with the water. I don't like the taste, but if you dump the powder on your tongue, you don't have much time to taste it. Then you take a swig of water and it's gone.
I'm even more wussy. I take it with a swig of juice,
If you
but
if you
I
if
get
you
it down.
swallow, so your tongue's dry, when you dump it on your tongue, it's not getting the flavor. It's just like it's like nothing. And then when you drink the water, instantly it just disappears. It just
Yeah. Oh yeah.
disappears.
That's
So
the easiest way
yeah,
to take it for
yeah.
sure. We carry the Happy Body brand. It's the cleanest one that we know.
Um, do you have like a starter pack for somebody? Sulfur, eye drops, like what would be in a starter kit? Because
Oh
ordering things one at a time, shipped to the United States, you gotta
no.
it doesn't work. You gotta order a
We
box.
have bundles. We have a
Okay.
lot. We have all kinds of bundles. And really, you just pick the condition that you're kind of going for, or just in general, there's general bundles. So you can just shop through the bundles and you'll see all kinds of put together packages already pre-made.
And
Yeah.
I want to point out to people this is a little different than most of my interviews. Why am I talking to Amanda, talking about her shop? I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. I'm trying to share what I use, what I love, what keeps what which is very good. Amanda's stuff is absolutely amazing. And if we don't have people like Amanda, this world is in deeper shit than it's in already.
Yeah, why they work so hard to, clog us up and chase us down. And we had to get rid of a physical store as a result. That's why everything's just online now. But
Right.
pre-COVID days, I was very, very active in my physical store. I had people coming from all over the world to buy from me because there's nobody's making what I've invented and what we make. So also even when we're like, I've trained people now to be makers, right? So I don't have to do all the hundreds of things myself. And I've trained everyone to, when they're making, to be in high vibration, to be in the energy of love and to bless what they're making and to tune it to 432. So we have a tuning fork and everything is tuned. A lot of people don't know that about because people just can make stuff and be grumpy or whatever. Like people can make stuff and all these other energies are around them. But what we do is lift the energies of what we're making so
That
that we're infusing even more as far as like the energies that the water in those products will absorb, and then we tune it at the end. And I did an experiment one time where I tuned. Oh, my internet's being silly.
no,
One
no,
sec.
you're good. You're good. You're back. You
Good.
froze for a second, but
Oh,
I heard you the whole
sorry.
time. No problem.
Oh, okay, good. Well, so the like what I did one time is I made one of my facelift in jars, and then I tuned it, and then I made another batch and I didn't tune it, and I sat them in the same conditions and to see how long it would take to break down because that's when I was back figuring how long the shelf life was and everything for all the products. And the one that was tuned lasted 6 months longer than the one that was not tuned. So you can use tuning as like a natural preservative. It's just things that we've lost along the way in this realm.
That's a perfect transition to what I want to talk about water and like when you pray over food, you're changing the water in your food, right? Does praying over dehydrated foods work? Don't answer that.
Well, there's still a little bit of water
All right,
even
so
in.
so you've heard the story that a drop of water holds terabytes of information. Water is amazing, right? I have a theory that water is the physical manifestation of God. Nowhere in the Bible does it talk about God creating water. Water's just always here, and water's in us. We can't survive without it. You can relate water to God. In many, many, many ways. When you look into a pond, what do you see? You see yourself in the water, right? So water holds information. If water, you've seen Dr. Emoto's stuff, and then who's the other woman that does stuff with water? Amazing. Like she'll put she'll just think about a rose and then freeze it, and then the rose will appear in the water. You know her?
Oh, Beta Austin you're
Yeah,
talking about?
Veda Austin.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's all of this incredible stuff about water. I think water is the most under appreciated or studied product. You can find a seed that your grandma put in a jar in the garage 50 years ago, stick it in the ground. Water will fall from the sky and food will come out of the ground. Water is amazing. So you can strip information out of water. You can kill water, right? And you can also tune water and bring it back to life and put stuff in it. Think about what's going on right now with AI, right? The data centers that are going up everywhere. I mean, it is the biggest, fastest growing thing ever. There's data centers that are going up in Austin and in Texas. I think the statistic is that they're going to use more water than the rest of Texas or something like that. Some like crazy amounts of water. And now they're putting data centers in the ocean using the ocean water. What if it's not just for cooling? What if AI isn't just an algorithm? I don't think it is. I think it's something far, far, far beyond that. I think, and now for their last push, they're trying to erase all the information in the water. They're trying to erase. It's like the Akashic records. Where are they stored? Is it in water? Are they trying to strip out all of the information in the water, disconnect us from the sky with all of the chemtrails, and everything? I what do you think about it? Have you thought about that? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can try all they want, but
Yeah,
good
they're
luck with that.
yeah,
Like we're all one and we are all divinely connected.
yes,
Like so we can fix all that. Like we can easily speak the remembrance back into the water. Like every time I shower, I do that. I
yep.
mean, it's not that difficult. Everyone, anytime you shower, you can do that. I mean, I don't even like pooping into water like that. We shouldn't even be doing toilets the way we do toilets. Like it shouldn't be
Yeah.
sewage, sitting in water like that.
The,
But,
the,
there's a lot of crimes. There's a lot of crimes happening on a lot of levels, right? But the most important thing to know is that you still have that power. They can't, as much as they want to and try to take it away and to corrupt and to dumb you down, it's all still there. It doesn't go away. It's like the somatid, right? The somatid in our bodies, it cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be destroyed by explosives. Like you can never destroy the true root of life. Life has to always life. So you can never, as much as they try, just like they try to blast a hole in the firmament, try as they might, they can't do it, right?
I agree.
It's like a pipe dream for
Yeah.
them.
The
But
problem
like
the problem with a waterless toilet is it costs $23 million for a waterless toilet, and you still need a poop pushing stick to push it down into the basin, right? So,
but
and
what's their excuse? Everything's done underwater.
yeah,
Oh man. Well, it's we're kind of in the absurdity of the times, and the best we can do is what we can control
right.
in our lives. Because, I mean, just to think of the concept of all the things they're building and all the damage they're doing, it can really become disheartening. It can really lead us to anhedonia. It can really, make us want to detach from those issues. But ultimately, the empowerment are all the things around us that we can do because of this interconnectedness,
Yep.
right? Like, as you know, when you can send frequencies distance, you can do distance healing, you can change things distantly. We can bless the water at a distance. We can do all these things. We're not helpless. We're not hopeless. I mean, they obviously can't kill us all because they would have by now, which means we do have some semblance of free will. We do have some power that they can't squash. And we just have to hold on to that and know that. And despite what the external projection is playing out right now, we are waking up and we are making decisions and we are able to, take some sort of, agency of our reality. And that's really, I think, what's before each and every one of us right now.
I
Where can you,
right.
do that in your life?
Our fear feeds them, and our attention to them gives them more power. And we don't need to take over. We need to ignore and just not feed the demons anymore. That's how I look at it. I had a couple other questions for you. Um, they demonize tobacco by putting addictive substances in it, right? No, like organic natural tobacco is good for you. You're on that page, right?
Mhm.
And so they demonize that. So now everyone is vaping everywhere. Is it yeah. Now, does vaping stop your body from healing by depriving oxygen and nutrients from getting through your body? That I heard that somewhere. I was like, that makes sense. Like if you have a
Yeah.
broken leg and you're vaping, it's going to heal much slower because you're not able to deliver the oxygen and nutrients.
That's part of it, but also it's a chemical concoction, including some sort of oil residue that layers inside the lung tissue and creates what's called popcorn lung, right? You
Yep.
probably heard that
Yep.
around. And so it's the lungs are trying to adapt to being poisoned, and that's the result. And then creates scar tissue, and scar tissue, unless you really know how to go after it, is pretty much permanent in the body. And it's like the worst thing one of the worst things you could do. Just smoke, go take the natural tobacco, and I'd rather people smoke that
Yeah.
than vape anything.
All
Yeah.
right. So the next thing is the biggest craze, and I know almost nothing about it, is peptides. Everyone's injecting themselves with peptides.
Yeah.
Uh, Okay. Now, like this has become like the biggest fad. The mainstream's talking. Everyone's talking about it, which makes me go that like that's like whoa, full stop. Like, how do you know what they're putting into those peptides that you're injecting into your body? Is that a concern?
Yeah, I've been dealing with this question lately, and I'm like, does it change anything that we've ever known about holistic health ever? Why is it, do you not hear yourself being marketed to? Like, do you not know when there is a fad, there is a trend, and it's pushed on you? You know, like if you are I don't know, a celebrity junkie, and you need to warp yourself because you have body dysmorphia and you have to look like a skinny twig to sell more, I don't know, gowns or some shit or whatever you're doing, or to sell the agenda, to self erase to erase yourself. Go ahead. But the thing is, like, people don't even understand what they're talking about, right? There's different kinds of peptides. Our whole body's full of peptides. Like, what they say the word and they don't even have it defined yet, right? Like, insulin is a peptide that we've had for a long time, but that wasn't trended as an as a peptide, right? Like, people don't even know that. There's like injecting peptides that are lab made, that are created not how your body would create them, that have serious side effects like heart attack and death and GI bleeds and stuff. Probably a bad idea. I categorize those as just big pharma med, and we don't touch big pharma med, right? They're like Frankenstein monsters. So why would you do that to yourself? You're going to have repercussions 100% when you try to go against nature. Anytime you try to squash nature, attack nature, suppress and damage nature, there's a repercussion. Like, that's just a law, okay, of this place. You do try over and over, you do that, you will have an adaptation and a repercussion. And then there are the topical peptides that are a little more inert. Peptides you can add to skin cream, ceramides and shit that you can put on your face. Okay, fine. We don't really have a lot of data. We don't even have long-term anything. We don't have long-term studies of most of this stuff. So people are just diving in. And it'll be one of those stories you see, like, in a decade where, like, when they
Yeah.
did the GLPs, oh, shoot, yeah, bad idea. Yeah, all those people have cancer now, or all those people have heart attacks and die. Whatever. Like, it's just, we don't learn that when you get hype like that, and when you're seeing strong physical alteration effects, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't move like that. Your body never moves like that. Your body is a very slow, calculating, specific. They want overnight success. It's like selling to the lazy mind, right? I just want to sit on the couch and watch TV and eat chips and bonbons
And not
and
get fat. And I'm going to take Ozempic. Is Ozempic a peptide or is that different?
yeah, it's a
It,
GLP. Yeah,
yeah. So there's so many people that are taking it. It's incredible. Is that something you'd have to like? Is there a shedding thing? Like if someone's taking it, is there any issue?
no,
Nothing like that. Is
no,
shedding a
and
thing? Is shedding a thing at all?
not the way we're told, because the idea of shedding comes from the fake germ theory, like of
Right.
viruses shedding, right? So it's not like that, like particle shedding, and now you're grabbing particles. But like, you can off gas, you can produce gases off your body, and then you could take some of those in. I remember one time I was exposed to this very, very obese man who could barely walk at the post office, and it was kind of enclosed space. And that man was gassing. I'm not talking about toots. I'm talking about his
Off gassing.
skin.
Yeah.
Yes, some kind of gaseous thing was coming off him that was beyond foul. And I immediately, as soon as I smelt it, I felt sick, right? It was like going if you're inhaling gasoline or something. I felt nauseous after that, and I actually got an event of detox after. I got like a cold and flu symptom from him because I whatever I absorbed just triggered me into purging, into cleaning into get that out, like go away, right? Which is our body's natural. Colds and flus are our body's natural way of cleansing, right? So anytime you're exposed or triggered to expose of something, it will go through that process. And it's not like a virus causes the thing or a bacteria causes the thing. It's just an exposure of a toxin, and the body goes into a cleansing. And but I remember that distinctly because I'm like, that dude it was a specific odor off of him. And I also was exposed to a woman who just had her shots, and she hugged me and then told me after that she just got her shots. And I was very angry, and I remember storming away after she left. It was when my store was still open. I was like, why would she hug me, and why would she even get vaccinated, and why is she my customer and doesn't know this? And like I was just really like, why would you? I would fight tooth and nail to never do it, not for some casual like I have to get on an airplane so I have to do it bullshit, right? And I lost my taste and smell. Woke up the next morning without taste and smell for an entire year. So I know that whatever was coming off of her triggered me. It triggered a mechanism
I
within
would
me
call
that
that
said,
shedding. I
"They
would call that a form of
sure,
shedding.
sure," but I see it more as electromagnetic. I don't
Okay.
see it as particle
Well,
shedding.
I'm not specifying what it is. I'm just saying
Yeah,
you
yeah.
affected
So that's
me.
how we're
So you,
defining
yeah,
shedding.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm just waiting, a decade down the road or next year, all the people that took Ozempic, oh, they have turbo cancer and everything else that goes with it. They have
Most of them will just
turbo
have heart
strokes,
attacks,
turbo
probably.
heart attacks.
Well, because what is happening is they're losing fat. And
Yeah.
when you lose fat and you lose muscle, the body's eating itself to because it's starving. So usually those who are starved tend to die from heart failure of some sort, right? Because they just can't keep going, basically. Some sort of major organ failure usually.
Super fun. What about vitamin C, the basic vitamin C? Some people say you need to megadose it. I take a teaspoon in a glass of water whenever I think about it. What's the proper way to take vitamin C? And do you need vitamin C?
Depends. I eat a lot of fruit, especially in the summer, but I
Yep.
don't tend to go naturally in the winter. I'm not inclined to eat the same levels of fruit, and therefore I supplement with vitamin C buffered. I use a buffered one in the wintertime. And so if I feel like my skin isn't where it should be, because vitamin C and copper help rebuild collagen naturally, right? Then I will up my vitamin C. I can kind of tell by just the subtle cues of my body. If I'm not healing well, if I, cut myself or something, and I'm not healing as fast as I should in the winter, then I take my zinc and my vitamin C so that I upregulate the healing quality. So it really depends on your situation. Like, how depleted are you in general? How's your gut health? Are you absorbing it well from your diet in the first place? Are you stressed and therefore also not absorbing because your gut doesn't work as well when you're stressed? Are you very active? Are you, there's all those factors, right? You always want to consider all the factors to know whether you're deficient. But a lot of people in the modern world are deficient of like some of the major categories of vitamins that we are well established, like vitamin C, the B complement, vitamin D, vitamin A. I mean, it's vitamin K, K2, vitamin E. Like, it's shocking how many people are actually chronically low in a lot of these vitamins. And that's because the other factor is how exposed are you to toxicity, and they're spraying it down on us daily. I mean, we have Wi-Fi toxicity, we have like a cacophony of exposures that are bioaccumulating, and we need more nutrition to do that work of cleansing and clearing and repairing, right? So we've upregulated the toxins, and now we have to upregulate the vitamins, right? And so we're not really in the luxury of a world where we can just eat our way to it unless we're very, very aware and calculating. But I still I usually pulse my supplements as I tune into myself and feel the need. And it really takes just a little self-reflection, like, have I been eating that lately? Like, how many carrots have I had or mangoes have I had over the last so and so time? Like, is my beta carotene levels where they should be? Haven't had it lately, so maybe I should. Or, have I not been eating
That
A, B, or C food?
that's
And
how I
then,
do it. That's how I just
yeah,
I trust my intuition. I see what I'm eating. I'm like, okay, I need a little more vitamin C. I need a little bit of this.
yeah,
I get a lot of sun. All right, I'm not going to take any vitamin D because I get that from the sun.
yeah, you'll be
So
fine.
so somebody explained to me the sun. How do we get vitamin D from the sun? And people are like, well, the sun sends you vitamin D. No, it doesn't. It sends you the vibration of vitamin D, and then your body makes the vitamin D.
It actually stimulates your skin to produce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sends the that's the best way I've heard it explained. So we are these incredible machines that we evolved from pond scum from a lightning strike. It was very lucky, and it can do all of these things.
Yeah, right.
We can do all of these
No, we
things.
evolved from dinosaurs, don't you know?
No, the chickens evolved from dinosaurs. We didn't
Oh,
evolve from
whatever.
dines. We came from pond scum, and then the pond
Yeah, I
scum
guess.
split into dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah. Well, it was taught in school. It has to be true.
Yeah.
Do
Oh
you think
man.
sending children to public school is child abuse?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, my daughter begged me to go to high school and I kind of had to oblige because like I've been homeschooling her the whole time
Did
and
she want
then
it for social reasons?
yes.
Then
And
I think it's
but
worth
it's
it.
not good for us.
Yeah.
No. I'm not liking the outcomes I'm seeing in behavior, already seeing the agenda being pushed because all the I mean, it's tough. It's one way or another, okay? One way or another, your child is going to have to see what's going on out there. You know what
Yep.
I mean? And they're going to have to make up their own mind and they may have to do it the harder way rather than the easier way in order to be self-empowered in it. And the hardest thing about parenting is just watching them go through it, and you have to just do your best because the ideas are all over the place and their brains are not developed fully yet.
You've
So
seen my interviews with I do some high school classes, about a dozen high school classes every semester. And it's like Groundhog Day. It's like from class to class to class, I have to start over, start over, start over. Like, and the teacher pointed out, he goes, welcome to my world. I'm like, I never really thought about that. Teachers have Groundhog Day every year. Um,
yeah.
but I noticed the last time I did it with Angels of Light, Angels, they asked, well, why would they lie? And he brought up God, right? If you mention God to these high school kids, you lose all of them. All of
Hmm.
them. Instantly, they discredit everything you say. Because like when I was a kid, they had prayer time in school, right? And they took that out and replaced it with the Space Initiative. What is the Space Initiative? It's to dilute God. It's to dilute
Hmm.
creation. It's to weaken you. So that was one thing I noticed. And the other thing I noticed is if you even suggested, like, oh, who are they? And you point to any sort of power over the government, a cabal, corporations, whatever, they can't even fathom that that's a possibility, that there's anything that rules over the government. They can't, they are so brainwashed, they can't even fathom that as a slight possibility.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
God, the controllers are really doing it to these kids. God is just off the table, and nobody controls the government. The governments are they're the ones in control. It's
But the good news is, like, when I was their age, I didn't know any of that either. You know what I mean? And even though I was raised Catholic, I still kind of questioned the God thing, right? I think it's just a phase where they're at,
yeah,
and they're going to get lied to enough that they're going to come to a place where they're going to throw out that whole kit and caboodle and they're going to find the treasures that are
right.
out there for them to go, wait a second, who's this Rockefeller dude? Like, how did this all happen?
It's
What's the Great
Zuckerberg's
Reset?
grandfather.
Yeah.
That's just a coincidence, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Like they'll get there, but like right now we're herd animals in that way, and they want to fit in. And that's more important to them than being right or being truthful. So they're just going to have to go through their phases of growth, and hopefully still there'll be enough of us around when they're ready, when the percentage of them that will wake up, because only about maybe 20% maybe will wake up out of that
Yeah.
generation, right? When they're ready, they'll find it because it's out there because of people like us. We just continue to tell the truth. Like we went through our awakening, so we can have hope that they'll go through theirs as well, right? And we just meet them where they're at because that's all we can do. We can't force them. So, yeah.
Anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up? Hour is a good amount of time.
Well, just, I see a lot still. I'm kind of still dismayed, honestly. I try to step away from a lot of social media. Plus, I was canceled off of Facebook and Instagram and everything anyway. But I just to be careful I don't know if that's the right word, but a lot of people are still stuck in major, major mind traps. And I kind of hoped that by this point we kind of have come like past this point. So I'm a little bit like scratching my head. Like how many people still attack like geocentric reality? How many people still are so wanting to cling to the germ theory after all the work that we've done? Like it's just sometimes I'm like
People want to
maybe
hold on to their globe. They want to hold on to their nuclear bombs. They want to hold on to their germ theory. Because if they admit that these things are wrong, they have to admit they've been duped and they're not in control, right? Because
yeah,
we build a world around us that we feel like we're in control of this world.
yeah,
And when you say that the entire foundation of your belief system is total nonsense, that's a hard one, right? But you know what my favorite insult is by the Globers is you flat earthers will never change your mind. No, we all changed our mind. It's you guys. I mean the reflection. What is it when you the projection that from them
yeah.
on what they say? Everything they say about us is just nonsense. Um,
Yeah, it's the logical fallacies that I think if everyone could just maybe take a look at a list of logical fallacies and maybe start to practice in their day when they're using them. Because the only thing I ever see out of the detractors or people who just don't want to have actual debate or conversation is they all use them. And which means they're not emotionally, mentally fit, right? Because you can't have a debate if you don't know what logical fallacies are and avoid using them, right? Which shows me they're not even of a stature of IQ that's worth debating. And the mockery is also very telling. So if you're really feeling like you have to mock an idea or attack someone's credentials or something, but you don't have any facts to bring, then maybe it's you,
it, it,
maybe.
it's it's the people that mock us and just are anti. I call them anti flat earthers. The more you argue with them, just the more they're going to argue back. So then your whole world is going to be surrounded by people like that. I don't even see them anymore. Like, oh, Dave Weiss is
Mhm.
running. No, I'm not. You don't exist in my paradigm. Like all you anti flat earthers, I forget your names because you don't live in my head. And I find new people every day. It's amazing how, like, I was in Vegas. So many people recognized me, which is like, I'm not bragging about that. It's working. It's working by getting
Mhm.
out there and waking people up. It's very, very encouraging. I feel super encouraged about the speed that people are waking up. But if I focused on the idiots that just want to argue,
Yeah.
I would want to just off myself because it's just horrible. So I don't give them any energy. I don't give any energy to anybody that doesn't deserve my energy.
Yeah, it's true, and that's also why the real world and getting out into the real world is the true litmus test of how many people are,
Yeah.
figuring this stuff out versus online, which is you got bot farms, you got all kinds of detractors and stuff. You're not going to get the true feel for it,
Yeah.
which is why I've noticed the more I step away, the better I feel and the more optimistic I feel about things.
I,
And
I say surround yourself with like-minded people. We have our Telegram group that whenever you're in there, it's awesome. Everyone understands. I started the jobs board, right? Because the big insult was you'll never get a job. Now we don't want to work with you, and we don't want you working for us. So now we have our own jobs board. So if you're looking for a job, check it out. There's jobs that come on and off there all the time. People are loving it. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's good. Good work.
All right. Well, and the other thing is, flat earthers are so passionate. They're so passionate that they are really hard to work together. A lot of us just that we don't. Everyone's doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing. I love other people to collaborate with me, but it's like nobody has. Everyone is like off in different directions. So,
Yeah, there definitely needs to be a coherence at
yeah,
some point.
yeah.
I think the next pressure point that they do will probably force us to have to do that.
All
I
right.
think they're restricting our energy, like the energy of oil, gas, and sun, and
Yeah.
they're going to keep going. And when their AI bubble bursts and they keep taking away more and more things,
You,
then like the food, for example, like gardening is way more fun when you do it together than when you do it alone. So like that could be a good place for people to start, just get into more
yep.
farming co-ops together, right? Because we're going to have to do that.
They put a new law in effect here in the United States. I don't know if it's worldwide that all the car manufacturers have to put sensors and cameras inside and out, and it'll watch you walking up to your car. And if it thinks that you're drunk, it won't let you start the car. Like, what if you tripped and fell? Like, oh, you're drunk. You can't go in your car. But and when they want to flip the switch to everyone has to go into these electric cars and do this stuff. When I was in Vegas, there are driverless cars everywhere there, and everyone has a Tesla. I took about 10 Uber rides. Every single one was a Tesla, right? So scary. And so I'm thinking like, well, how would they get people to give up their old Ford, their old, their old car that doesn't have this stuff in it? I know how. There's no gas available.
And not only that, but you put corn, ethanol in the gas, you taint the gas so it destroys the components
Yeah,
of the
and
old.
so all the cars will die, and then there'll be no gas. If there's no gas available, everyone's going to die from. Oh, you don't need a car. Just call the driverless Uber. It's cheaper than owning a car, and
Yeah,
that
no
they're pushing it.
repairs.
Yeah,
They're
no
getting
repairs
rid
and
of.
no insurance and nothing.
That's
Right.
why we're just gonna do our own thing,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
I
Yeah,
we're the people outside of the outside on Logan's Run. I'm down.
yeah, exactly. And we are the ones who can choose our jurisdiction. We can,
Yeah,
we don't have to keep adhering to the straw man. We don't have to keep and stop paying taxes and stop feeding the system. Is
yeah,
wherever you can stop feeding it, stop feeding it.
yeah.
That's the main thing.
And
Take.
and I don't want you guys to support Amanda. I want you to support yourself by going to Amanda's shop and buying everything you need to support yourself. Do it for yourself. And by the way, a side benefit is it'll support Amanda.
Yeah, and support my work, which is really helping a lot of people.
Yep.
And we have an entire testimonials page if you're unsure. Like
Where
we
where's the
all,
where can people go to like someone's like I've heard of you. I don't know a lot about you. What's the best page or video they should watch to learn about you?
well, I mean, that's tricky because I have hundreds and hundreds of videos, but
Where can they
like I
go and just find a list of stuff and let their intuition pick something to watch?
just go to the video section and just look at the categories. I mean, the categories will give you an idea,
Okay.
of what I cover. And you could click on the blog. Then you can sort of see, like, skim what I talk about in written articles.
Okay.
That's another one, just to get an overview. But you'll see, like, when you look at the categories, you'll see how many items are in each, and you'll see like germ theory is up there, like the no virus germ theory, like that's pretty much at the top, and then DMSO is at the top,
Yep.
and then all the other holistic principles from there. So yeah.
All right. It's a wealth of information that will save your life or make your life better too.
Yeah, the whole
Before.
point is to empower yourself and to know that you can learn how to handle a lot of this stuff without walking into a trap, and just to stop outsourcing your power to a third party that really doesn't care about you. that would rather, like I said, be harvesting your organs than, or killing you because you're anxious, than, lifting you up and helping you achieve the best you possible. And then, taking you away from all of those medications and all of those different interventions like surgeries that don't give you what you think you're going to get from them. There's a lot of future faking in
Yep.
the medical world. Promises, promises, and you don't want to be a regret story because there's so many of those. And so that's what I work on. That's what I teach. That's what I help you with. So
One more
yeah, we have
question. One more
yeah.
question. It might be controversial to some people, but um, you, um, veganism. What do you think about not people that don't eat meat? Is there a type of person that shouldn't eat meat, or what is your view on eating meat?
Actually, I have a couple of videos on that. I used to be vegan and I depleted myself. And there's like different diets for different times in your life. There's different diets for different times in your life, and there's different scenarios and different places in the world where different diets make sense. Like if you live and you get a ton of sunlight during the day and you're like always in the ocean and you're always barefoot and grounded on the earth and you're eating like living, electrically living fruits from the tree, right? Like when you're very fed biophotonically, you don't need to eat that much, right? And you can live off of fruit for a majority of time, and get your protein from like beans and stuff, right? If you're in the winter, like where I am, and you don't have that same exposure, and it's very more difficult to be vegan, and it will deplete you slowly over time. Now, you could be vegan for 10, 20 years and don't notice it until you do, right? With a bone break or a tooth that has to come out, right? But it's there. And so there's no one correct diet. There's no one right or wrong way. It is what is working for your particular body in the place that you live, in what you have access to. And that's, if you want to be a temporary vegan, you can do that. I like, personally, my favorite way of eating is a seasonal rotational diet. So you eat seasonally, you eat locally, you eat what's available to you. That's what's nourishing you because you're very adapted to your environment. And what's in your environment is there to support you within that environment, right? And so even like eating tropical fruit is kind of, extra because we wouldn't get bananas here normally, right? Or grapefruits or these kinds of things. We would focus on pears and apples, and those would be our type of fruit that we would eat. And so to really think about, you are connected to where you live and your environment, and that each season changes what is presented to you to eat, so that you get a full range of all the nutrients and minerals and things that you need to be vibrant, not just healthy and alive, but actually vibrant and thriving. And that's why I use a lot of herbal medicine and herbs, because we get a lot of nutrients that way, especially in the north.
The elite are pushing veganism. There's the vegan agenda.
Yeah, I talk about that in my videos. It kind of turned me off of it because it wasn't so heavy back in my day. It was about a cruelty thing back in my day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I get
right?
that. So yeah, I buy all my meats from the great farms, incredible farms.
Yep, same here. I
Yeah,
know the farmers, I know their practices, nothing halal, which is actually totally brutal. Things that are organic, things that are raised, animals that are raised respectfully, caringly, lovingly, properly free ranged. Like,
yep.
there's ways to do it with proper husbandry that is not disgusting. And I don't support any of those factory farms whatsoever. So there's ethical ways to do it. And then the rest is just judgment of death, which is its own
Yeah.
philosophical discussion, which I kind of came to terms with. And the rest then is a discussion of health. And when it comes to the discussion of health, veganism is not a healthy diet. It's a depletion diet overall, for the most part.
Have you heard my veganism theory, why they push it. We can end up.
Oh, well, I know why they push it because most people won't be able to keep up with the amount of food that you have to eat and the way you have to eat.
Yeah.
And so they'll become weak, physically weak, and their babies will be weaker and
I
they'll
have a
have more
different
health
theory.
problems.
I have a different theory. So when we eat meat, we eat animals that are vegetarian. We eat cows and goats or whatever, and we don't eat bear or coyote because their meat tastes gamey, right? It doesn't taste as good. So the elite push veganism.
I know where this is going.
I won't even say it because they taste better. Vegans taste better. All right. So
Yeah, well, we
I
know
actually
that.
thought that was a joke when I first said it, but I don't think it's a joke, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's not a funny ha-ha joke, but yeah, I'm sure that they definitely already have centers where they feed specific things to their.
All right. Awesome, Amanda. You're the best. I love you so much, and thanks for chatting.
Yeah, thanks for having a chat. It's good to finally have one because I don't think we've actually ever interviewed over all the years, have we? Which is weird.
I think we're on a panel. together.
We were on a panel, but
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think. Yeah, I thought about that the other day. I'm like, did we even ever?
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
We gotta
All
do
right.
it again. Okay.
Peace. I'll stop recording.
Peace.